Even if some games are tough at the start, many players stay for the cool stories, good graphics, or fun social parts. But sometimes, the fun and how easy it is to play can go down as time passes. Sometimes developers make bad decisions that drive players away, making them dislike the game, leading games that used to be popular meet their demise. Hey gamers, welcome back to GamingAtMax. Today, we're gonna jump back to 10 once popular mobile MMO games that are no longer alive or being played today. Without further ado, let's get to it. Starting off at number 10, we have Warhammer Odyssey. Back when I played this one, it was still very much in beta state, even though it was said to be a full release. But the foundations of the game were actually decent, and I was looking forward to getting updates and bug fixes from the developers, but I think those updates and patches never came. Let me know if they did in the comments and if you played this game before. As far as I can remember, this game did not have an autoplay. You basically play it like you do on PC, which was one of the reasons why it was so popular back in the time and was swarmed by players, but in my opinion, the game seemed to be going nowhere. Still, it was one of the better games that offered console quality graphics at a time. The mobile game had to shut down suddenly with the developers citing a bunch of problems. These included challenges posed by COVID-19, making the game development difficult, and also cyber attacks that forced them to turn off servers in March of 2022. And then about a month later, made an announcement about it. It's actually quite sad to see this game go, but it's probably for the best. Before moving ahead, I would like to thank our sponsor for this video, Onestate RP. Onestate is a mobile role-playing game where you can be anything you like. Cop, gangster, businessman, or just an everyday worker, it's all up to you. Now this is not GTA Online or GTA clone, but it's the closest game to GTA 5 you can find on mobile. The game's goal is more about social stuff and filling up the map with loads of players. Onestate has a huge city for you to explore, and there are all kinds of cars and vehicles for you to ride while you're at it. What's more awesome is, it's all in a real map of America, and at the start of the game, you will be given free business with a lot of opportunities to make money. As far as my experience of being a mobile gamer for a long time goes, Onestate is the only mobile game that offers this kind of experience. I've been playing this game for quite a while now, and I can definitely say that it's a whole new level of online mobile gaming experience. There are tons of cool things you can do, and the graphics are great and well optimized. Also, Onestate has just released a major update called its Thuggin' Time. This is a significant update where they've introduced an opportunity for players to create their own gang and compete with others for the title of the most formidable organization in the city. Come and join me in Onestate. Download the game now using the link in the description and get 10,000 in-game currency by using my promo code. At number 9, we have Talion. So as far as I know about this MMO, Talion was one of the first MMORPG on mobile to have showcased impressive graphics that look and feel similar to that of a PC MMO. Though the game really had great graphics that were so impressive in its time, it did not have game mechanics that can make players stick around for a long time. It's a two-faction MMO where you're required to select one at the start of the game. The backstory seems common. You, as a Talion, enter a world called Nar where demons are wreaking havoc, so on and so forth. I completely understand if a mobile game becomes pay to win, but I think Talion was going overboard with it. I mean, the price of the items they sell in the game, in my opinion, was absolutely ridiculous. Just from that right there, you can already see why this game has been left without any active players. This game is still available in Play Store and App Store, by the way. You can look it up if you want to try it out. Next, over at number 8, we have Dragonest M. So we all know, or at least most of us here know, that Dragonest is a very popular MMO on PC. So when the mobile counterpart was released, it unsurprisingly garnered thousands of players. Dragonest M was so popular and populated, particularly in Southeast Asia, where the game amassed millions of downloads over the course of 2 years. On the 30th of November 2021, Dragonest M was shut down, accompanied by a message of appreciation from the developers. They also made an announcement regarding the unused in-game diamonds and explain how players can either withdraw them or transfer them to the new game called Legend of Neverland. Similar to World of Dragonest, this one also did not last long, and now they have a new version with upgraded graphics called Dragonest 2 Revolution, but I can only hope that this one lasts longer than its predecessors. Next up at number 7, we have Aurcus Online. I'm not really sure if it's pronounced as Arceus or Arcus, but I'm just gonna go with Aurcus as that's what people often call it, and it sounds cool. Feel free to correct me in the comments though if I'm saying it wrong. I don't really know much about Aurcus Online, but I played it for a short time before, and I know it was a great game. The story in this game is a sequel to Turam Online. I believe the storyline goes in the order of Iruna Online being the first, followed by Turam Online, and then finally Aurcus Online. So you probably have to go through the other two games in order to fully understand the main story. Aurcus Online can actually still be played and is still available on Google Play Store and iOS App Store. However, when you get to the game, there's almost like no one is active on there, but I believe there are still a few players left and some small communities. Coming in at number 6, we have Order and Chaos 2. Now, this game was actually kind of special to me as it was the first mobile MMORPG I played during its heydays. I can actually still vividly remember when Gameloft announced the need to separate the Android, iOS, and Windows server due to the overwhelming numbers of players during its initial release. The game was highly addictive, bearing a striking resemblance to World of Warcraft. The graphics, gameplay mechanics, crafting system, and overall design were, in my opinion, ahead of their time. The lore was captivating, and the game boasted an outstanding PvP system. However, when Gameloft was acquired by a third-party company called Vivendi, everything went downhill, and the game never managed to recover. Gameloft permanently closed the game on the 16th of February 2023 on all platforms, but if you download the game right now, you can still play on a Russian or I think it's a European server, but even that will be closing down before the end of 2023. Nevertheless, it was a fantastic experience, and I hope to encounter a similar game in the future. Moving on to number 5, we have Pocket Legends. Now this game is the oldest one on this list, and if what the game says in the description is true, it is the first 3D MMORPG on mobile. Now in my opinion, I think it was indeed the first, as I don't know any MMOs that came out on mobile before this. Pocket Legends is still playable, but I doubt you'll find more than 50 players still playing on the server you'll be logging into. I played this game a lot as a kid about 9 or 10 years ago, and there used to be hundreds, if not thousands, of players back then. However, when I revisited it, I couldn't find any active players, but it might have just been the server I was on. But according to a friend of mine who still plays it, the game is now dead, and new players almost don't have a way of getting through level 76. Anyway, this game absolutely shined back in its time, as it did not have much competitors, and the gameplay was overall good too. Sadly, things can't be the same as time goes by. I'm glad that the servers are still up though. Sitting at number 4, we have Crusaders of Light. So, when Order and Chaos 2 was on the verge of losing most of its players, Crusaders of Light came out. Now, this game had a lot of hype since NetEase, the game's developer and publisher, was said to be in collaboration with Blizzard on its creation. This collaboration not only piqued the interest of mobile gamers, but also attracted PC gamers that are looking for something new. Crusaders of Light featured literally the best dungeon mechanics and Holy Trinity system available in a mobile MMORPG at the time. It featured 40-player raid dungeon occurring weekly, massive guild war events, an extensive PvP system, gathering of hundreds of players in a single location through events, and even a battle royale mode. The lore was among the best in mobile MMOs of that era, and there was actually a lot more. Sadly, a major glitch occurred that resulted players in receiving an excessive amount of crystals or runes, which could be bound to gears to enhance their strength, which disappointed most of the dedicated players. That was when the game took a downturn. I quit the game since then, and I just heard that NetEase shut down the game in November of 2021 with an excuse of not being able to cover the cost of maintaining it. Moving on to number 3, we have Lineage 2 Revolution. This MMO was, in my opinion, had the most console-quality graphics and gameplay back in about half a decade ago. When this game launched in South Korea in December 2016, it grossed more than a whopping $900 million from its players in just 2 years, making it the top-grossing game in South Korea during that time. Japan was also proven to be the game's second largest market by revenue, accounting for about 23% or approximately $345 million of spending in those 2 years. That, along with thousands of concurrent players during its time, proves how good and addictive the game was. I played the game myself and got hooked on it for months, but I had to quit as the developer became too greedy with our in-app purchases. The game became too expensive, and in my opinion, it was no longer worth the time and money. It was a good and fun experience for me though. Down to number 2, we have Order and Chaos Online. So back when I played this game, I wasn't really able to get into it deeper. So there's only a few reasons I know about how this game ended. But I had fun playing it. I mean, it was the first MMORPG that resembled World of Warcraft in like almost everything. From graphics, mechanics, design, and a lot more. Due to the fact that it was the first WoW-like on mobile, it amassed tens of thousands of players in its first few years. Some people even says hundreds of concurrent players worldwide with just a few left in the very end. Order and Chaos Online was a fantasy MMORPG video game developed by Gameloft for iOS and Android devices that came out in 2011 and was very recently shut down in February of this year. Some people said it was because the game was simply dead or had become pay-to-win ever since Gameloft got acquired by Vivendi, bugs, and a lot of reasons actually. But bro, this game lived for more than a decade and still had a considerable size of community until the very end. In fact, a lot of my in-game friends from Order and Chaos 2 and Crusaders of Light came from this game and had often bragged about how Order and Chaos Online was the best MMO in the mobile gaming industry. I'm pretty sure some of you guys here have played this game at some point in time. If you were one of them, share us what you think about this game in the comments. By the way guys, before we get to the number 1 on our list, I'd like to invite you to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you think it's worth it. Finally, at number 1, we have another entry from Gameloft. Man, Gameloft really dominated the mobile gaming industry back in the days, didn't they? Anyway, the title of the game is Dead Rivals. Alright, now this one is not the same as your typical fantasy MMORPG. Dead Rivals focuses on a post-apocalyptic zombie theme. Players could explore an open world, engage in various missions, and combat hordes of zombies. The game often featured elements such as character customization, weapon upgrades, and multiplayer components. Now, before Life After came out, this game was the best zombie MMORPG and, to the best of my knowledge, the most played zombie apocalypse MMO back then. And if you head over to their Facebook page, you will see people almost crying about this game's sudden closure. You'll find comments like this, and that. Gameloft's explanation for shutting down the game was rather vague. They simply mentioned a decision to focus on developing other games. I genuinely wish Vivendi hadn't taken over Gameloft, as they might have been able to continue producing high-quality games. Alright gamers, those were the top 10 mobile MMORPGs that used to shine back in the day but eventually met their fate. I hope you found this video informative, and if you did, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if that sounds good to you, as there's a lot more to be discovered here. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me today. This is your gaming buddy Jeffrey, and I'll catch you up in the next video.